Hi everyone. Forgive me for the video quality, which is going to be a little dark tonight. It's because I waited too long to do this video. But we're here anyway, so I'm sure you can live with it. Okay, what's our subject for today? Well, how to win in court. hmm Well, there's some problems. If you go to court and you're the defendant, you're going to lose. Okay? Now, I've helped people, and number one, the first thing that's a problem is people come to me when they're going to be in court next week. Well, that puts me up against an almost impossible deal. But I have helped quite a few of you people out there with your court cases. Some we've had some really good luck with, and some not much luck at all. And one of the reasons is that none of the courts are the same. All the judges do things their own way. Now, that is not fair. So just to give you an idea of what you're up against when you go to court, is this. The conviction rate in this country is between 92 and 98%. Now, those ain't good numbers for justice. Those are good numbers for a money-making machine that's rolling along like a bulldozer with going downhill and can't be stopped. That is what they're good at in court. Now, I'm going to tell you that while I don't believe that the people that are in there are bad people, don't get me wrong. If you go in there and you say the right things, these judges will know whether you're a creditor or you're not a creditor. They'll know if you're just a straw man trying to make like he's a creditor. In other words, you need education. You can't face this stuff without an education. Now, the boys at Creditors in Commerce, these guys are some awesome people that are trying really to help everybody, and my hat goes off to them. And the things that they teach and what I have been using to help others out there like yourselves who have anything from, you get drug possession to, well, you name it. Yeah, I've helped an awful lot of you. And like I said, some of the cases we got, either stopped or got them to leave you alone. But what I'm trying to do today is to switch course. Now, if you go into court as the defendant, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. Very few get out of it. It's just like the people that go to Las Vegas. Very few people win, but there's just enough people win so that they can't say that the thing is crooked. Okay? They walk a fine line, And it's the same way with the court system. They let some people go, the ones that deserve it. And I believe the people that are acting as creditors when they go in there are the ones that get the benefit, because the judge doesn't see that every day. In fact, a judge hardly ever sees anybody that is a real creditor who's in there and knows what to do and what to say. And they really appreciate these people. As I said, I don't believe these are bad people. I believe that they have been involved in a system like we have today that is just a total lack of justice altogether. You can't have a 98% conviction rate and call it justice. All right? If it was fair, you would have probably around 50-50, or maybe 55 or 60-40, but you wouldn't have 98% conviction. No. That's a railroad job, okay? All right. So what can we do? Well, the only way to win in court is to be the plaintiff. In other words, the one that is bringing the case against the other side. Because the numbers switch drastically. You have a good 75 to 85% of the people that go into court as the plaintiff win their case. All right, how can that work for us? All right, let's take a hypothetical case. One of your kids gets caught, and a cop stops him, pulls him over, traffic stop, and they find, an ounce of marijuana in the car. Okay? All right, there's no doubt they're dragging you off. It's just that simple. Now, you need to know how to handle yourself when you go into that, when you're getting booked and all of that stuff. It's very important that you know how to handle yourself. What to say, when to say it. And in a lot of cases, you can actually walk right out of there without them being able to book you. Or you may end up staying in there for 3 days, 72 hours. But after that, they'll have to let you go. And the thing about that is not to give them jurisdiction. And that is for another time. But all of us need to know how to do that stuff. And you can listen to the audios that are on my 3 DVDs, which I'm thinking about adding a 4th one onto that. And to all of you who have already bought them, if you can send me $3, I'll send you the new disc. But I'm thinking of probably just adding it on to the 3-disc package as a bonus. And but I'll let you guys, all you guys that are on my email list that I contact on a regular basis and send documents to and stuff, I will be emailing you pretty soon and find out who wants it. And for $3, I can afford to make the disc, send the disc out, and stuff like that. So, so get in touch with me, you guys, on email with my email address, which is bigdu1. That's BIGDU1 at roadrunner.com. Okay? And you can get, for those of you who haven't watched these videos before, you can get the documents for the copyright and the traffic stop just by emailing me and asking for it. All right, so let's move on with this. What can we do to win? All right, your kid got arrested. He comes home, and now you've got a dilemma. Your son or daughter, whatever, is facing a court case with drug charges. Oh, God knows what they're going to slap onto that, you know? It's ridiculous, really. But anyway, so let's just say that it's just the drug charges. That there wasn't any speeding or anything. All right. Now, in the normal way we do this, you go to the court. It's a railroad session. What's your name? What's your bang, you're guilty, and either you pay a big fine or you're off to the pokey for, you know, a month, 2 months, something like that. But that shit goes on your record, you know? It goes on your kid's record. So now anything that they do, they go to get a job, whatever. Okay, you've been convicted on drug charges. Well, that looks really good, huh? I mean, kids just don't realize it, what they're doing. But anyway, how can you win this? Well, after you've got your summons to go to court, you're going to have probably, I would say, maybe a month, maybe 2 months before your court date comes out. Now, one of the first things we want to do is to do an administrative process on the prosecuting attorney. Now, unfortunately, when you're dealing with something like this, it's necessary for you to do like a commercial claim on these people and do the administrative process, which means you send 3 sets of documents to them, and then they won't answer, and because they don't answer, you default. You put the prosecutor into default. Now, if you do that by notary presentment, and notary presentment only, it could work right off the bat. But even if that doesn't stop the process, now you have evidence. You and the prosecutor have a contract between each other that says that he doesn't even have a claim against your son or whatever, or you. All right, so that's one method, and we should do this anyway. But the next method, and the best one for you to win your case altogether, is to do a counterclaim, which is basically a lawsuit. And you're going to be the one bringing the case to court. Now, here's the thing. The court case, the counterclaim, is going to bring up jurisdiction right off the bat. All right? Now, once jurisdiction is brought up, the one that's bringing the charges has to prove that they have jurisdiction. If you go in as the defendant, they just assume that they have it, and they just plow on like I said, a truck running down the hill, you know, with no brakes, you know. But if you do it as the plaintiff, oh, it's a whole different story. We got a lot of things we can do. We can do things like depositions, where we can get the opposing party and depose them. We can send them discovery, so that we get discovery for this stuff. Which this discovery just means you're asking a bunch of questions and they have to answer it, and they have to answer it truthfully under penalty of perjury. Big difference. You'll find that when you're the defendant, that opposing attorney does nothing under the penalty of perjury. No, and you know why? Because they lie, they lie, they lie, they lie. That's the one thing about attorneys. And if you're an attorney, I'm sorry, but this fits you. How do you know that an attorney is lying? His lips are moving. That's right. All they do is lie. So you can't listen to anything an attorney sends to you, anything that they say to you. You cannot believe any of it. But now, as the plaintiff, you see there's a couple of main things that have to be proven. Number one is jurisdiction. Now, how do they get jurisdiction? Well, if you go in as a defendant, they just ask you your name, and you tell them your name, and then bang, they have jurisdiction. And there's a whole bunch of crap that goes behind that and how to offset that, but that's not why I'm talking to you today. As the plaintiff, you get to ask a lot of questions. You get discovery. Now, I've tried to help some people who were, you know, up against, stupid ass charges. And we tried to get discovery, and they just will not cooperate with you. And that's one of the reasons you will learn. I mean, you will lose in court as a defendant. But in the counterclaim, it's your court. And what I mean by that is, you're running the show. You are the king. And that judge knows it. Okay? First of all, in the cross claims or counterclaims that we're going to do, you're going to go into the court, and one of the problems you have in regular court is getting it into common law. No, it's never going to happen. It might happen once in a while, but for most people, no, you're going to get railroaded. They will not allow you to bring it in under common law. But when you're the plaintiff, at the heading where it says, district court such and such and such and such, right under it you say this is a common law court, and there's a little bit more verbiage to that. But basically, you say it right off the bat when you start your document. It's going to say common law court or court of record. Okay, any court of record should be a common law court. It can be if you make it into one, but they will just go about it as though that doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist unless you make it happen. So when you call that out in that beginning caption of the lawsuit, you can actually get the whole thing to be done as an Article 3 court of record or common law court. Now things change, okay? Because the main problem that they're going to have when we do this is that we're going to be asking questions that they don't want to answer. All right? Number one is, who is bringing the charges against you? Now, the law says, or I believe it's the Sixth Amendment, says that you have the right to face your accuser. Now, what does that mean? That means you have the right to cross-examine the person that's bringing the charges against you. And they don't do it right. They never have a real claim, because when they arrest somebody, they're supposed to have a warrant for that arrest. And that warrant is supposed to have an oath and affirmation, or an affidavit of complaint. And they never have that. Never. Because it's not the right person bringing the charges against them. It's always the state. The state of Maryland versus Johnny whatever, right? And They're bringing in the charges as the state. The problem with that is, boys and girls, the state is not a living entity. The state is a dead corporate entity. It's dead. You can't harm something that's dead. Now, there's a thing called corpus delicti, which means the body of the crime. In order to have a crime, you have to have an injured party, and you have to have violated somebody's rights, or you have to have hurt somebody. And there's another thing too, I can't remember offhand, but there's 3 elements, I believe, to a corpus delicti. The thing is, they never have that, because they never have an injured party, because there is no living person bringing the charges against you. Now, if you're the defendant, no, they will not answer that question. However, as the plaintiff, oh yes, you can ask these questions and they have to answer. Now here's the deal. The prosecuting attorney has to have what is called an agency agreement. What that means is that the accusing party or the injured party signs a contract with the prosecutor for him to be able to represent the injured party in court and prosecute the case. Now, boys and girls, what's the problem with that? Huh? A corporation doesn't have fingers. Okay? It can't hold a pen. So how can it sign an agency agreement with anybody? It can't. So what does that mean? That means that somebody who's representing the state, could be the Attorney General, who knows, anybody, signs an agreement with the prosecuting attorney so that they can represent the state. Well, that's fraud, because there is no plaintiff. The state does not exist. Oh, you might think it does, but it doesn't. It's a non-living entity, and a non-living entity cannot be harmed. So, that means that if we start asking questions that they have to answer, like, provide me with a copy of your agency agreement, do you see the problem they're going to have? Huh? Oh yeah, boys and girls, they can't answer that one. No, they can't answer that one, because if they answer it, guess what? All of the people that signed that agency agreement have signed a fraudulent document, a government document. Okay? There's a whole bunch of laws against that. Tampering with government documents. Mm-hmm. And then you have just the basic, your everyday fraud. It's all based on a lie. So if you can prove this stuff, hey, if you've already got a case that went south and you did time or you did whatever, oh yeah, you can sue them. Mm-hmm. And you can get all this information where you couldn't get it when you were a defendant. Not a chance. Because your lawyer that you might have hired to help you, no. He won't touch any of this because he will be disbarred. That's right, boys and girls. If you're a member of the club and you screw up and you do something bad, yeah, like asking the wrong questions, they don't like that. So they'll disbar them and kick them off. Kick them. If they're a judge, they'll kick them off. Lawyers, yeah, they'll be gone. But the problem is for them is that they have to answer these questions. They don't have a choice. So in order for you to win, I have approximately 100 questions that are just like that. Okay? And when you, like for instance, ask them what evidence you need DNA evidence uh, that the injured party or the plaintiff exists. You know, show me DNA, show me a driver's license. Corporations don't have driver's licenses. No, they can't prove identity. So you have an identity hearing. Prove up. Bring that son of a gun right in there and sit him in the thing so I can see him face to face. Because that is your rights. So, excuse me, my grandchildren are coming up. Okay, well, I'm doing this, so try to be quiet, okay? All right, so the people, oh, are they all coming up? Anyway, all right, guys, go downstairs. I'm talking on the thing. Okay, go do the chickens, take care of them. Sorry for the interruption. This is life, okay? All right, so now you have, you're at a point where you're starting to ask all these questions. And the whole bunch of questions that I have are all ones just like that. They can't answer them, but they have to answer them. Because it's not their court. And it's a common law court because that's the way you set it up. And they have to have an injured party. They can't prove that they have an injured party. So you don't have jurisdiction. And that's how you win. And there's another thing too, which is ratification of commencement. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but that is Rule 17A, okay? Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, I think. They're court rules. And Rule 17A says you have to prove up that you have a real injured party, and if you don't have jurisdiction. And that's where we go. Now, that gives you a basic idea of the strategy behind this. Now, I don't want to test all this out on cases that have serious consequences, okay? I want to do, and I know this stuff works because there's a guy called Bill Thornton, and this is what he does. And I've tried to help a whole bunch of you guys out there, and guess what? While all of the stuff that I've been trying to show people does work, but the problem is there's too much education time that's involved. And you guys just don't have the time for that. Or you can't invest the time necessary to be searching out all this stuff on the internet or even on my discs. The stuff is there. But I need some of you who have just received a ticket, and let's not go for something with a DUI or something like that. Just a straight up speeding ticket or something like that. I want to help you guys win your case. And I want to prove this out. Now, I only need people to help do this who are serious, okay? You got a ticket, and you don't want to let these bastards get away with it, all right? I need people to help who have a little gumption and who are willing to put in the time to learn a few things. And I want to do maybe 4 or 5 test cases. Because the most you're going to lose, listen, when you go to court, you're going to get jacked up anyway, okay? You're going to lose. That's all there is to it. So if the thing has a fine on it of $200, well, bring your $200 with you, because you're probably going to have to pay it. But if we do these counterclaims, I'm in full belief that we can get the whole thing dropped. And maybe even sue them while we're doing it, sue for money damages because they violated a whole bunch of your rights when they did it, And not only can we get the case dropped, but maybe we can punish them. Okay? Maybe, maybe you can get $100,000 or something like that, like hitting the lottery. But you're going to have to work for it, guys. So don't even contact me unless you're willing to put in the time. And I'll help you with documents the best I can. And I'll help you, because we're going to do things like depositions. And we can do those over Skype. And I can question them for you. So I really want to do this stuff. So anybody out there who has, a simple, straightforward traffic incident type thing, and you want to fight your ticket, and you just got it, I don't want anybody to contact me that's going to court next week, because I can't help you. You don't have enough time. So you'll just have to do it. For this time, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and pay the ticket. But those of you who do have the time and do want to fight and do want to learn these techniques, I want to talk to you. So you can Skype me. My Skype address is available by email. Send me an email and, tell me a little bit about what's going on with you. And if I think that we might be able to do something with it, then we'll go ahead. Once I get one or two of these down, we'll cookie cutter these things and give them to everybody. How to do the lawsuit, we'll do it step by step and teach everybody how to do this stuff. And maybe we can ram some of these things right up their wazoo, and maybe we can win a few. Okay? So again, if you want to get some of the DVDs, I have 3. I'm going to be putting 4 in that package for the same $18. Like I said, I'm not here to make money, folks. I'm here to change things if I can. I'm one guy, and if I can help you and we can help other people change what's going on, we can probably work some miracles. Okay? So go to my website, which is National Public Record Registry.info. Okay? And go on there. There's a couple of videos on there. I want to put more, but I'm helping so many people I don't have time. So these ones I just put on YouTube. And I let everybody know where they are and they can go watch them. So any of you who want to volunteer and get your feet wet in commercial law and how to get these cases won, don't expect miracles, because we're dealing with a bunch of crooked people, okay? But I believe this process is going to work. It works for Bill Thornton, so it can work for us on a smaller level. So you guys get in touch with me if you have that, and we'll go from there. And thanks for taking the time to even watch these videos, okay? So for tonight, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.